Well, again, it comes back to the aspect where people need to understand how people think differently and what their perspective of the world is. And that's something that often gets, what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lack of communication and understanding because of it. Because again, it goes back to the aspect of not only it goes back to the aspect of what is normal, but also the aspect of, everyone's a Ken doll, right? So what do you do when someone is not a Ken doll? And then how do you communicate with them? They're not willing to accept or adapt to the person who is not like them or like everyone else. And then it becomes this conflict of how can we try to bridge a communication between each other so that we can see. Go ahead.
Well, I'd like to pick you up on that because we were talking about what is normal, and like Shirin said, everybody has an internal voice. Everybody has things they experience as dreams, hallucinations, whatever you want to call it. And Andrew was saying that there's 8 billion different versions of the skewer. So how can any enterprise bigger than one person even begin to deal with this? Gabrielle.
Well, I'm listening intently to the back and forth and how you collect the thoughts and ideas. Actually, when we have to learn, like you have to learn and to identify, and also what Andrew said, finally I was diagnosed, I could organize myself. How do we orient ourselves in an ocean? How do we navigate our being? We need, and that is what you try to do, or I assume you try to do, with trying to find a constant with your question, what is common? So common, not in the sense of common from a cultural or social acceptable perspective, but more in the sense of where is the overarching theme that could serve me as an anchor to identify my uniqueness and my difference and my fluidity. So, but our society and our brain always, as I keep saying, it tries to pigeonhole and to stereotype, because we need to. This is a natural, a biological need for a sort of a safety. Because in a world where I don't know myself, what do I know? How do I measure? How do I structure my day? How do I structure my life? You see? So, and from that comes always the comparison, almost the compulsion to compare myself with what? To what? It is actually a base of a drive to belong.
Well, Maslow's hierarchy of needs is it's the second most.
Which are anymore a little bit outdated, because Hollow, they discovered that the monkey holds on to the fluffy surrogate, even if the fluffy surrogate doesn't give any food, because it's fluffy and gives you warmth. Right. So there are so many, again, if we found something, that's it, you see? And the beautiful thing in science is there is always the hypothesis, and there is always one margin which is there to explain an exemption. And here comes back what Andrew said. There are so many perspectives within a perspective, but what is common? I need to hold myself, otherwise I get lost in the perspectives. So I need to understand what is common in order to develop a coping mechanism, you see.